Both were shaking uncontrollably, finding it difficult to operate the door handles as they scrambled to exit the vehicle, desperate to be able to stand by the edge of the road, making sure that whoever was approaching would be sure not to miss them. Finally, they managed to get the damaged doors open. The vehicle was approaching rapidly, climbing up the steep incline on which the vehicle was perched. The panic so high, they were oblivious to the cutting wind which further accelerated the penetration of the cold. In a moment, they were at the side of the road, both standing, watching in desperate apprehension. The vehicle lights were almost upon them. They were frantically waving and jumping around, desperate, knowing if this vehicle were to pass them by, it would very likely spell death. The lights came into full view. Both were frenetic in their movement and arm waving. Both now so far into the roadway that the only way the vehicle could have continued was by running them over. The vehicle at first seemed as if it was going to do just that, barrel right through, swerving around them. Then, at the last desperate moment, they saw it was slowing down. It decelerated and with finality ground to a halt in front of them. It was a van. From the interior, a ghoulish green glow emanated from the windows. The two ran over to the passenger side door, one giving a desperate knock on the door window. Meanwhile, the other, in the thin shirt, reached down in desperation to pull on the door handle. It was locked. The driver was trying to enunciate how they had just been in an accident, but the words did not come out right due to the paralyzing effects from their exposure to the cold. Both were pointing desperately to the car, haphazardly perched on the embankment, obviously inoperable. Both were peering into the van. All they could discern through the strange green glow was the faint silhouette of a driver. They stuttered out the best they could heartfelt pleas. They were desperate. Finally, after what seemed an eternity, the door locks released with a loud electronic click. Both reached for the front door handle with desperate grabs. The passenger was the first to make his way into the front seat. As he scrambled in, the driver leaned back and pulled at the door handle for the side of the van. The door opened with a loud hiss, with warm air from the van escaping into the freezing night air. In an instant, both were in the van, shutting both doors behind them. Inside, they luxuriated in the immediate warmth of the van. Both were beyond speech as their facial muscles had become numb and were likewise handicapped with their involuntary shaking and teeth chattering. The driver was in his late 20s or early 30s. He had long, blondish hair that hung down to his shoulders. There was an aloofness, a detachment about him. He sat stoic as the two scrambled into the van. Both immediately, huddling as close to the heater vents as possible. "Bummer," was all he uttered as he put the van in drive and pulled away from the accident scene. As the van motored down the desolate and deserted highway, the two were first engaged, dealing with the near hypothermia that had nearly resulted in their deaths. Both actually relieved, the driver did not attempt to extract any information out of them, as they were, for a while, seized with uncontrollable shaking seizures as they brought themselves back to normal body temperature. All speech had been rendered nearly unintelligible as well. 15 minutes later, both of them were capable and inspired to engage the Good Samaritan with conversation. The driver seemed strangely oblivious to them, seemingly content listening to a Rolling Stones CD. The one in the front spoke up. "Ha, bro wanted to thank you for stopping. You totally saved our lives," the driver responded. "No thanks necessary, just out doing my thing." A voice from the back echoed the gratitude. "Totally saved us. I bet within another hour we would have been toast." "Shit, I was about 5 minutes away from torching the car." The driver smiled. Well, I guess I got there right in the nick of time. That's a Big 10-4, let loose the one in the front seat. He turned to the man. My name is Jerry, and this is my buddy, Bob, but everyone calls him Glow. The driver of the van nodded his head. Cool Glow. I love it. Me they call Super Glow. He followed this with a discreet laugh. Dude, Glow, that is so cool. He was silent for a moment. No, the name is Raj. So where are you guys headed? Jerry let out a big breath. Well, was California, but looks like we have a wrinkle or two in that plan. From the back came an echo. Car is like toast. Totaled. It was a piece of shit anyway, but it would have been cool to at least make it to the coast. Now, we're sort of fucked with that plan. The driver of the van gave a laugh. Shit, something better might come along. We're cool with that, shouted Jerry. Say, Raj, how about you? You from around here? Raj smiled. I got me a spread a few miles from here. I sort of float around. I'm not about the stake-it-out life plan. For me, it has to be fluid. Glow stuck his head between the seats. Yo, dude, that's us. Same shit, highway, new scenes. Jerry looked over at the driver. Any cities? Truck stops? Any of that shit around here? You know someplace we can regroup. Glow popped between the two seats. We need a new program. That piece of shit back there is staying where it is. The driver looked over at them, giving a low chuckle. Do you even know where you are? This is like the middle of the ass end of nowhere. There is a town, but it's about 40 miles from here. And it's almost 2 a.m. Ain't shit going to be open. And besides that, my spread is only a few more miles down the road. Both passengers looked at one another, giving a groan. But before they could continue, the driver gave a laugh. Don't stress. I'm not going to kick you to the curb out here. If you want, you can stay at my place tonight. And tomorrow morning I'm heading into town and I'll drop you off there. Awesome! That is so cool of you! Shouted out the one in the front seat. Totally! Declared the one in the back. Then what seemed only moments later, the driver slowed and made a left turn onto a small road. My spread, it's about 2 miles down this road. Bouncing along the dirt road, the small house came into view. It was sequestered between trees, sitting on a small bluff. From this position, it was afforded a view of the surrounding Wyoming plains. The van parked in front. Dude, this is so cool, declared Jerry as he exited the front door of the van, taking in the scene before him. Both were taken aback. It was the total ambiance of the place. The way it was laid out, his house sat on a bluff, affording Raj a panoramic view. It was simple, yet elegant at the same time. Both were visually hypnotized, taking in the panorama of the night sky embedded with millions of stars. Then the way the house was framed by the gently whispering trees, with the night wind blowing through them. Raj keyed the front door open. Both quickly followed him in, as the night was even colder up here on the windswept bluff. Walking into the front room, the front door fell solidly shut behind them. Both saw that, like the van, the room had a greenish glow to it. Raj, on walking in, hit a switch on the wall near the door. The room illuminated even more, but still with the bizarre greenish glow. Glow let out with a chuckle. Love the green, bro. Love it. Dude, your place is so cool. This is totally me. Ditto on that, let out Jerry. He and Glow continued taking in the room. It was sparse in its furnishings, decorated with heavy furniture made out of some kind of weird ironwood or mesquite. The furniture had strange Gothic-like twists and turns to it. Both collectively were shaking their heads up and down, in an affirmative way as they absorbed the strange layout. Different, man. Different, was all Jerry could say. Raj, standing aloof, shook his head up and down. Say, guys, the cool spot is downstairs, It's, let's say, my inner space. He gave a strange smile. It's where I go to chill. Matter of fact, you guys can crash out down there tonight.